A fully loaded 18-wheeler can weigh as much as 80,000 pounds, and if you travel Oklahoma's highways and turnpikes, there's a chance that a semi-truck has or will roll up beside you with no hands on the wheel. Driverless trucks are being tested as we speak on Oklahoma roads, and not everybody's on board with it. With more on that, here's Steve Shaw. Steve.
Rich, for several weeks now, what are called autonomous or driverless semi-trucks have been running in Texas and Oklahoma during what is being called a testing period. Each of those semis still has a human driver on board, but a year from now, in some states, that may not be the case.
Kodiak Robotics is a tech company based in California that's 5 years old. Kodiak and global shipping giant Maersk are partners on a project they believe will help change the shipping landscape. I talked to top Kodiak official Dan Goff last week.
We're working to build technology that in the future will be able to operate driverlessly. So imagine a long-haul truck operating on the road with nobody in the driver's seat, and that's what we're working on.
That scares some people, Dan.
It does. I understand that.
For several weeks, Kodiak trucks hauling Maersk cargo have been running from a facility in Houston, Texas, where consumer products are loaded onto 53-foot trailers, then hauled to a distribution center in Oklahoma City. Kodiak says that route is being run 24 hours a day, 4 days a week. Goff says these trucks are operating on their own, but there is a driver in the driver's seat whose role is not to drive, but to monitor everything.
We have a number of sensors on the vehicle. There are 3 different kinds of sensors: cameras, radar, and then what's called LiDAR, which is basically a laser radar. It's a laser that shoots out and based on what it bounces off of, builds a really detailed 3-dimensional view of what's happening in the world around the truck. And that's happening 10 times a second at a rate that's much, much faster than what a human being can do.
Goff says driverless trucks aren't something that happened overnight.
I've been to Oklahoma City 3 or 4 times in the past year and a half to explain the technology and show what we're doing to people in the State House, in the governor's office, at Highway Patrol. And I have never had a bad meeting. Anybody who sees the technology, who has a chance to kick the tires, climb into the driver's seat, talk to our team, talk to our drivers, talk to our engineers, 100% of them, every single one, understands what we're doing and understands the opportunity that we have to make driving safer.
State Representative Nicole Miller is one of the Oklahoma lawmakers Kodiak had to sell, and she says so far they have.
And so I kind of see it as, we're going through a transportation kind of a big monumental change that happens occasionally. If you think when we went from the horse and buggy to the motor vehicle, right?
Renaissance.
Yeah, we are going through a renaissance, and we are going through another major change, and this is to do with, again, technology advancing. So it's happened before throughout our history. It's happening again. It just looks a little different this time.
Captain Brian Orr of the State Department of Public Safety says you better believe his people have studied what Kodiak and Maersk have been up to, and so far they've passed every safety test, and he believes driverless semi-trucks could enhance safety.
I believe it could, absolutely. The advancements that they're making, and I'll use the example, we work crashes, unfortunately, all the time where a driver has fallen asleep and has ran into the back end of someone. This technology that they have is going to pick that up, okay? It will know that there's a hazard or something in the roadway, and that vehicle will start braking or start making maneuvers where you won't have that. So in my opinion, if I had to give an opinion, this is going to make the road safer. That's what this technology is for.
Dan Goff from Kodiak says by late next year or in 2025, you will see driverless trucks on the highways, and there won't be a real person on board.
Well, I honestly respectfully disagree.
Jerome Redmond is president and CEO of American Truck Training in Oklahoma City, which is one of the largest truck driver schools in the Sooner State.
It's just that I know that insurance companies have a say in what happens with that with driverless trucks, and I do know that all the major players in trucking, all the big companies we all have heard of, have said in so many words that driverless trucks is not going to be a thing just yet, or it's going to be quite a ways down the road, because just the safety, the thought of having someone there just in case.
Redmond says regardless of what happens technology-wise across the next 10, 20, even 30 years, they're still going to need truck drivers.
There's going to be plenty of good paying work.
Jim Newport is president of the Oklahoma Trucking Association. He says right now in the U.S., there's actually a shortage of about 80,000 truck drivers.
The assumption there is that almost every commercial motor vehicle will become an autonomous vehicle. And I don't think that's likely, not anytime soon. And I'm talking about years. And this is just me speculating. Decades. But it could be decades, I don't know. The reason is there's so many obstacles once you get off of the main thoroughfares. The technologies are coming. Will it take some adjustment on the part of the public? Yes. Will it be instantaneously? I think not. I think this is going to be an evolution over time. What does that look like? I'm not certain.
We're not going to see it come overnight, but we do think that it can help kind of fill in some of the gaps. And for people who love being a truck driver, there are going to be trucking jobs for a really, really long time.
Dan Goff also points to the fact that right now in major cities all over the U.S., there are driverless cabs operating. Let that sink in, Rich.
I will. Thank you.